Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. We got some breaking news for the Arkansas Razorback fans as Jaheim Singletary, one of the best remaining player in the transfer portal, has committed to Arkansas, will be enrolling in June. And I think this is probably, you look at Arkansas, they did a very good job in the transfer portal. We'll take a look at who they had and kind of their haul a little bit later. I think this is the most impactful player they're getting for a couple of reasons. One, that secondary last year needed some serious work. You added a lot of depth to that position. And then you're getting a guy who is 1 year removed from that 2022 class where he was a bona fide 5-star recruit coming out of Jacksonville, Florida. Massive gap for Sam Pittman and the Razorbacks. Before we get a little bit more into that, I just want to say thank you to you guys again. The support you guys have shown truly does mean a lot. And talking transfer portal, talking high school recruiting has been an absolute blast, and the support you guys have shown means a lot. So if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Let's get into Jaheim Singletary. Then there's a couple things with this Arkansas football team that I want to touch on as we go into spring practice. And again, we'll be doing a deep dive into these programs over the summer, so stay tuned for that. But let's focus on Jaheim Singletary first. The thing you like most about him is the frame. A phenomenal athlete. He's verified very, very good tester, but you look at that frame. 6'2", 170 pounds. In 1 year in that strength and conditioning program for Georgia, he's coming in ready to play. And I think that is a big thing for Arkansas because you look at where Arkansas, it was a disappointing season for the Razorbacks. I think a lot of Razorback fans would agree with that. I think one of the reasons why it was so tough was the injuries, especially in the back end. You had some guys that just really didn't have business playing SEC football consistently, playing in that secondary. You lose a guy like Jalen Catalan, I believe week 1 at Cincinnati. And the depth and the talent of that secondary group in general, you could tell was lacking. And you could tell Sam Pittman, quite frankly, agrees with that too. I mean, we're going to take a look at this Arkansas class in the transfer portal in 2023. They attacked it, and they attacked it hard. You take a look at the transfers they brought in. Jaheim Singletary being the most recent guy, but you even go to Baylor. Leonardo Johnson coming from Baylor, probably going to play that nickel position. He's a ball player from Baylor. And then one of my favorite gets in the transfer portal, Al Walcott. I got to find him. Al Walcott also coming over from Baylor. This is a guy who's a little bit bigger of a body, but not afraid to throw his body around in the box, but also can play in the back end. You added 3 guys that I think are going to be immediate starters for Arkansas in 2023, which is massive because you look at that secondary. I like the front seven. I mean, guys like Bumper Pool and Drew Sanders playing up front. I thought they were some good football players. Where I thought Arkansas really, really struggled was in the secondary. And you saw Sam Pittman clearly agrees with that because he goes out and gets 3 guys who are probably coming in 2023 and starting right away. And again, the special part about Jaheim Singletary, he's not a 1-year guy. Al Walcott might be a 1-year guy for Arkansas. Jaheim Singletary, he's coming in. He has 2 years of eligibility at the least, and he might be a guy who stays for another 3 years for Arkansas. So that's a really big addition. And then getting into this Arkansas transfer portal get as a whole, I mean, I'm high on what they got. Trajan Jeffcoat was a dude that was on a lot of people's draft boards heading into 2022. Didn't have the season I think he wanted to for Missouri. And so he transfers coming in for Arkansas. And I mean, maybe he can kind of fill that role of Jordan Dominic. And you look at some of the pass rushers that are coming together for Arkansas, him and Landon Jackson. Landon Jackson, obviously, the transfer from LSU a year ago. That is shaping out to be a pretty good pass rushing group. And I'm a massive fan of Chris Paul Jr. at the linebacker position. I thought he played very well when Bumper Pool was banged up. I think they got a lot of starters and then some guys who are going to be kind of future dudes. Jacoby Griswold, it seems like the perfect replacement for a guy like KJ Jefferson. Now, taking a look at this Arkansas team, actually, I would like to note one other thing, and a guy that you talk about adding talent and depth to the secondary. I'm going to go way up here to their number 1 overall recruit from Frisco, Texas, Jalen Braxton. I think he's going to be a guy that comes in, and I don't know if he starts right away as a true freshman. I think a lot of that has to depends on like how does his body come together. Because again, coming in at only 170 pounds, maybe struggling to find the field consistently, but he's a guy that's probably going to play some meaningful snaps for Arkansas, and overall just adding some depth and talent to that secondary room that just needed it so bad. Now, taking a look at what Arkansas is looking at in 2023, kind of doing some spring notes, if you will. I think it all starts with KJ Jefferson, who obviously coming back for the senior year. That's massive. Now, the big thing for him is you got to keep him healthy, because when KJ Jefferson, I think a lot of Arkansas fans would agree with this. Yeah, he's a Heisman level quarterback at the college level if he can stay healthy. Now, that was a problem last year. If they can keep him healthy this year, I think that's going to be really big. And what I'm saying, for if I'm Arkansas, like, give the ball to Rocket Sanders a little bit more. He is one of my favorite running backs. I think if he left this year and he was eligible to go to the draft, I think he would have. And I think he would have been a top 7 running back in the draft. I think that's how special Rocket Sanders is. And if you're looking at keeping KJ Jefferson healthy, and I'm not saying don't use KJ Jefferson's legs, I'm saying keep him healthy for when you get into SEC play, when you have those meaningful games. Because the problem was, when Arkansas was playing big time games, KJ Jefferson was clearly playing not at 100%. Feed Rocket Sanders. Like, he's a guy that I should be getting 20 to 25 touches a game. He's a physical back who gets to the second level and has absolute burners to hit the home run ball. I think he's going to be a really good new guy. You have a guy like Bo Limmer coming back. I think Joshua Braun coming from Florida. The offensive line, at this point, it's death taxes, and Arkansas's offensive line being physical and being good. And I get you lose some guys, Ricky Stromberg, Dalton Wagner, I believe, leaving as well. Yes, the offensive line loses some guys that it hurts to lose, but Sam Pittman is going to come in and have a good offensive line. I think the one, if you're asking me to monitor one position group as we roll into spring practice, it is the pass catching group. Who are going to be the weapons for this Arkansas team? Look at who you lost. Trey Knox at tight end, one of my favorite tight ends. Matt Landers, who, if you guys remember me last year and you've been longtime listeners, heading into 2022, I was banging the table for him to transfer from Toledo, a tall guy who can stretch the field. And that's exactly what he did. You lose a guy like Katron Jackson, I believe, who is going to Baylor. So Arkansas, Baylor doing a little flip flop there. You're relying on a lot of transfers, and you go back and take a look at some of the transfers coming in at the wide receiver position. That is this kid from Bowling Green. I'm excited for him. 6'6", 210 pounds, can stretch the field. Very excited for Tyrone Broden. I believe Penn State was in the mix for getting him. And then Isaac Tesla, 6'4", 210. Like, you see where they're going. They want some size, and that's what they did in the transfer portal. Not going to speak much about him. Not really sure much about his game, but you see the frame. That is the position group that, if you're wondering about how good this Arkansas team can be, I think a lot of it has to do with what are they getting from these pass catchers, because you're looking at potentially their 3 starters in Andrew Armstrong, Tesla, and Tyrone Broden. And so how good can those pass catchers come together with KJ Jefferson? Arkansas is going to run the football a lot, but you do need some playmakers on the outside. It was a disappointing year for the pass catchers outside of Matt Landers. I think Jaden Hazelwood didn't have the impact that I thought he was going to have for Arkansas in 2022. So in spring practice, that's probably the number one thing you're monitoring, is who are going to be the playmakers that are stepping up for this Arkansas team on the offensive side of the ball as wide receivers. And if they can answer that question, you take a look at this depth chart, I think you're feeling pretty good. This is about as complete, but more importantly, deep of a team for Arkansas heading into 2023. I'm very excited to see and this is a team that I feel like it's on repeat. I'm excited. I feel like they can break through. When you have KJ Jefferson at quarterback, I think you have a chance to break through at any given year. I'm very excited to see what Arkansas can do if they can stay healthy in this 2023 season. And I'll be certainly following along with spring practice. We will definitely be doing a spring game recap for the Arkansas Razorbacks as well. So stay tuned for that. And again, the support you guys have shown truly means a lot. So if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.